Caivite Mutiny, presented by Group 2. Before everything else, let's recall about the GOMBURZA. Naaalala nyo pa ba or hindi na? Well, let me introduce to you. First, Mariano Gomez. Mariano Gomez de Los Angeles was a Filipino Catholic priest who was falsely accused of mutiny by Spanish colonial authorities in the Philippines in the 19th century. He was placed in mock trial and summarily executed in Manila, along with two clergymen collectively known as GOMBURZA. He is the head of three priests and spent his life writing abuses against Filipino priests. Born on August 2, 1799 in Santa Cruz, Manila, and he died February 17, 1872. And the next one, Jose Burgos.
Jose Apolonio Burgos y Garcia was a Filipino Catholic priest and a leader of the secularization movement, referring wrathful incorporation of Filipino priests into the Catholic hierarchy of the Philippines, then dominated by Spanish friars. Burgos was arrested on false charges of sedition and incitement of the Caivite Mutiny. He is advocated the reform of Spanish rule in the Philippines. Burgos also a close friend and associate of Paciano Rizal, Jose Rizal's older brother and mentor Burgos' execution, along with Gomez and Zamora's. Deeply affected Jose, who was inspired to write his second novel, El Filibusterismo. Several towns in the Philippines were named in his honor. Burgos born on February 9, 1837 in Vigan City. Burgos was arrested on false charges of sedition and incitement of the Caivite Mutiny. He advocated the reform of the Spanish rule in the Philippines. And he died on February 17, 1872.
And the third one is Jacinto Zamora.
Jacinto Zamora. Jacinto Zamora de Rosario was Filipino Catholic priest. Born on August 14, 1835 in Pandacan, Manila. He is remembered for leading a campaign against the abused Spanish friars and fighting for equal rights among priests. And also he is considered to be a true patriot. Fighting against Spanish colonization, Jacinto helped to lead the fighting for Filipino independence from Spain that was known as Brain of the Katipnan. Died on February 17, 1872.
Caivite Mutiny. Are you familiar with this controversy? If not, then let me call your attention for a while. And how did the GOMBURZA related to this controversy? Well, as we go further, malalaman natin ito. Are you ready? First, let us define what is mutiny means. Mutiny, according to Oxford, it is an open rebellion against the proper authorities, especially by soldiers or sailors against their officers. In other term, or in a simpler term, it is a revolution.
The Caivite Mutiny of 1872. The Caivite Mutiny of 1872 was an uprising of military personnel of Fort San Felipe, a Spanish arsenal in Caivite, 107, Philippines on January 20, 1872. Around 200 soldiers and laborers rose up in the belief that it would elevate to a national uprising. The mutiny was unsuccessful. A government crackdown on a burgeoning nationalist movement. Many scholars believe that the Caivite Mutiny of 1872 was the beginning of Filipino nationalism that would eventually lead to the Philippines Revolution of 1896.
What is the primary cause of Caivite Mutiny? The primary cause of the mutiny is believed to be an order from Governor-General Rafael D. Izquierdo to subject the soldiers of the engineering and artillery corps to personal taxes. from which they were previously exempt. The taxes required them to pay a monetary sum as well as to perform forced labor called polo y servicio. The mutiny was sparked on January 20 when the laborers received their pays and realized the taxes as well as the fala. The fine one paid to be exempt from forced labor had been deducted from their salary.
Why does the mutiny fail? According to research, it is because of the fiesta fireworks display in one of the town in Manila, because they mistook it as a signal from their co-mutineers in Manila to start the rebellion. Let me tell you a brief background why they misinterpret the signal. Fernando Lamadrid, a mestizo sergeant, was a leader of this battle. They seized Fort San Felipe and killed 11 Spanish officers. The mutineers thought that soldiers in Manila would join them in a concerted uprising, the signal being the firing of rockets from the city walls on that night. Unfortunately, what they thought to be the signal was actually a burst of fireworks in celebration of the feast of Our Lady of Lutero, the patron of Sampaloc. News of the mutiny reached Manila. The Spanish authorities feared for a massive Filipino uprising. The next day, a regiment led by General Felipe Genoves besieged the fort until the mutineers surrendered. Genoves then ordered his troops to fire at those who surrendered, including La Madrid.
So guys, let's discuss what happened after the battle. All Filipino soldiers were disarmed and after sent into exile in Mindanao. Those suspected of supporting the mutineers were arrested and executed. Next, the monety was used by the Spanish colonial government and Spanish friars to implicate three priests. The three priests are Mariano Gomez, Jose Burgos, and Jacinto Zamora, collectively known as GOMBURZA, who were executed on the Luneta on 28 February 1872.
Uh, how was the Gomburza implicated to Cavite Mutiny? Ayan. So, yung Gomburza, sila yung pinaka-main topic natin or the main character here in the Cavite Mutiny. So, bakit nga ba implicated yung Gomburza? So, kasi guys, noon, nung mga panahon ng Kastila, um, pag ikaw ay nakagawa ng kasalanan or against ka sa public or sa government, by the Spanish government also, mahahatulan ka. Unlike today na magaan-gaan lang. Pag nagkasala ka today is makukulong ka lang. Ayan, depende na kung gaano ka bigat yung kaso mo. So noon, pag nagkasala ka, nagkakaso ka, masisentensyahan ka ng bitay. Ayan. So noon, ng mga panahon ng Kastila, napaka-brutal yung mga pag-sentence nila or pagbigay nila ng hatol. Unlike today talaga is, kulong lang, ganun. Pag may pangpiyansa ka, makakalaya ka. Pero pag mabigat-bigat naman is, syempre, mahatolan ka ng reclusion perpetua or yung habang buhay ng pagkakakulong. Pero hindi ka papatayin. Unlike nung Kastila talaga, pag nagkasala ka, ibibitayin ka. So, ayan. Bakit nga ba yung mga gumbursa is sinama or binitay nila or hinatulan nila ng bitay? Bakit nga ba nila ginawa yung mga bagay na ganon or yung sa pag-against sa Spanish government or sa government na namumuno noon? So, later on, malalaman natin sa mga magre-report here. But now, I will open up to you guys the topic for today or the how was the Gumburza implicated to Cavite Mutiny? So, next is how was the GOMBURZA implicated to Caivite Mutiny? So, the priests were charged with treason and sedition. Ito yung mga hinatol nila sa mga tatlong pari or sa tinatawag nating GOMBURZA. So, ano nga ba ang treason? So, treason is the crime of betraying one's country, especially by attempting to kill the sovereign or overthrow the government. So, ito yung mga taliwas or dun sa mga kontra sa pamamahala ng Spanish government. Sila yung parang taliwas, ganon. And ano nga ba yung sedition? So yung sedition, ito yung hinatol nila na bawal silang mag-publish, bawal silang mag-write, mag-print or ng any kind na materials na against the Spanish government. So hinatulan sila na dapat sila manahimik, ganon. Yeah. So ano nga ba yung mga rule na yun? Bakit sila sinentensyahan, ganon, ayan. By the Spanish Military Tribunal, ayan, a ruling believed to be a part of conspiracy to stifle the growing popularity of Filipino secular priests and the threat they pose to the Spanish clergy. They were sentenced to public execution by garrote in the same year. Ayan, sinentensyahan sila ng bitay. Ayan, ang nagsagawa ng mga bitay, ganon, yung mga garot, ito yung mga nagsasagawa ng bitay. Sila yung mga gagawa, kumbaga sila yung papatay, ganon.
Next, what happened after the battle? This execution, particularly those of the GOMBURZA, will have a significant effect on people because of the shadowy nature of the trials. Jose Rizal dedicated his work El Filibusterismo to executed priests. On January 27, 1872, Governor General Rafael Izquierdo approved the death sentences on 41 of the monitors. On February 6, 11, more were sentenced to death, but these were commuted to life imprisonment. Others were exiled to Guam, Mariana Islands, including the father of Padre Paterno, Maximo Paterno, Dr. Antonio M. Regidor E. Jurado, and Jose Maria Basa. The most important group created a colony of Filipino expatriates in Europe, particularly in Madrid and Barcelona, where they were able to create a small association and print publication that were to advance the claims of the Philippine Revolution.
Backstory of Mutiny. During the short trial, the captured mutineers testified against Father Jose Burgos. The state witness, Francisco Saldua, declared that he had been told by one of the Basa brothers that the government of Father Burgos would bring a fleet of the United States to assist revolution with which Ramon Morente, the supposed field marshals, was financing with 50,000 pesos. The heads of the friar orders held a conference and decided to dispose Burgos by implicating him to a plot. One Franciscan friar disguised as a Father Burgos and suggested a mutiny of the mutineers. The senior friars used an una fuerte suma de dinero, or a large sum of money, to convince Governor General Rafael de Izquierdo that Burgos is the mastermind of the coup. Gomez and Zamora are close to Burgos, so they are included anyway.